I love the work ethic. I really do. We got better in the last 2 days. I saw some of our young guys get a lot of reps. They calmed down a little bit after being in a game and being around that environment, practicing better. And I think the key to one of our successes this year is going to be how those young guys keep developing to provide more reps for guys to give them breaks during the season. And if injuries occur, how well they develop. And I'm very pleased with the 2 days they had. Upperclassmen got better on some details and things. Thought we got some things cleaned up offensively, defensively, special teams. And I like the last 2 days of practice, really do.
Coach, I noticed Carlos getting reps at running back. Can you just talk a little bit about that?
He's a natural running back. He's very natural. Extremely natural.
Is that something you guys are going to try to implement as soon as possible?
Yep. He's 6'1", he's 232 pounds. He can run 500 meters. Can catch, can run. Is very natural with the ball in his hand. Is physical, fast, learns. Doing a really nice job. I think he can provide not just depth there, but I think he can provide some spark there. And which I'm not disappointed in what we have, but the running back, those guys take a beating. You keep a great rotation. Very pleased with that.
You kind of wanted this. You've always thought he could be a really dynamic running back. What precipitated this? What made this change?
Well, I think as our depth has developed in the secondary, he still can play some. He'll play some dime situations in certain things on defense and be right there, being a kick return. But the size, speed, and the need for that is with some of our depth issues now, with Pender being ineligible.
Right.
And I think he saw it and has done it in practice for a little while, even longer than before y'all knew it, and felt very natural at it. And he sees where we can go with it.
How's he look?
Very good. I'm very pleased with what I saw in the last 2 days.
I know PJ didn't play in the game, Coach. You just bring it on slow with his injury.
Yeah, he was. He had that thigh bruise, and they had to take drain a little blood out of it last week. And he could have played if he had to, but he didn't have. And it wasn't because he couldn't. It was practice time. He didn't get enough practice time, and so we didn't feel comfortable when things were going well, so we didn't do it. He'll be back in the mix and ready to roll this week, big time.
So Carlos is permanent? Can we say that? He's a permanent running back now? But he might play some
And he can still play some defense and play in the nickel and dime situations at that linebacker spot inside, and will be very good and great on special teams. Yes.
What were some of the concerns he had about moving to running back?
I just think always been a defensive guy. People have always told him he's a defensive player, which he's a very good defensive player. There's nothing wrong with him as a defensive player. I mean, there was a guy named Devery Henderson, played for us at LSU, played tailback for us down there for 2 years, and had great player. Moved to receiver, and he's still 10 years in the league. I mean, we had Corey Webster, did that receiver and went to corner. I mean, nothing wrong with him there. I just think he is very natural with the ball in his hand, and he can change numbers on the scoreboard, in my opinion.
Is that any indication about? Is there any concern about James
No.
long term or holding?
No, James fine. James will be. He's banged up. We'll rest him this week. He'll be back in the mix. What he had there, he had this last year, and we just wasn't close to that. He just bruised, and he'll be fine, ready to go. But I think those running backs take a pounding, and then you got a big, fast guy like that can hit home runs, put the ball in his hand.
Kelvin talked today about how excited you were with his not only catching but the blocking.
He had 3 blocks. I mean, annihilated. Just ran over guys and dominated guys. And everybody says that he missed the block on the swing pass. But what happened? He was trying to communicate inside to make sure 89 got. When he turned around, the guy he lost it. So it wasn't that. But I thought he blocked very well on the night. He's being very physical on both ends.
That some of the receivers are doing a lot better is getting out and blocking.
I think they are, and understanding where they are, and being, let's say, our team's being very unselfish.
Reuben Carr said it meant a lot to him to be recognized after the game for stepping in for Trey by you.
Oh, hey, that guy's had a good camp. I said all along, I feel comfortable if he has to go in the ball game. He's 310 pounds now. He's really developed himself into a good football player. Like I say, I always tell him, you don't ever know when your number's called, and he took it. He was right on what a coach dreams of. A guy hasn't gotten reps, and all of a sudden he gets a chance, and he jumps in there, and we don't miss a beat and score. That was tremendous by Reuben.
Any update on Trey?
On who?
Trey Jackson?
Just a little swelling in his ankle, and he's getting better. I'm very pleased where he's at. He's moving a lot better than I thought he would at this point in time.
Any timetable for him?
No, day by day. We'll see on that.
Coach, what about Cam? It looked like Cam was a little bit limited against.
No, we did. We just held him.
Is it just the same thing that's been going on?
Yeah, and we're trying to develop. This week was about developing our young players. We got him enough reps, did what we had to do, keep developing the backups, keep developing those guys and getting them plenty of reps and live at bats with our defense. And we know what he can do, and he played well. There's no sense to keep pounding a guy's going to have to play all year.
Do you already go ahead and game plan for Nevada, or do you wait till?
No, I will. We'll start. We've looked at some film. We've had one game on them, see how they do them, and I'll study a bunch of film tomorrow while I'm recruiting in between stops, and then our defense will do the same thing, and then we'll put our base things in on Saturday.
Do you like the bye week right now?
I
It's
do.
Kind of an odd time.
It is.
Better than
but when you have
Saturday.
a second one,
Yeah.
I like it right now because you come out of camp, you come out of a Monday night game, you had a physical game there, you had a very physical camp. Guys get banged and bruised, and you can get like almost another week at camp to develop your young guys, and they know what a game's like.
Right.
and know what to expect, and you can continue to build that depth. And I can't say how critical that's going to be for us.
And those Monday to Saturday turnarounds are always
Exactly,
tough.
exactly. That's ridiculous on these guys. It's not fair to the kids.
Does it also help because you got some new stuff on defense? Give you guys some film to look at and learn from. I'm saying having the bye week.
It does. I mean, the more you get, the more they play, and the more they get used to Coach Pruitt and what we're doing. There's no doubt.
That was obviously a lot of attention on Jameis after that game. Has he been any different to you, or looks the same?
Exactly the same.
Do you even have to say to him, put that game in the past, start fresh, or is he on that?
I don't put it in the past. I mean, you learn from it. What you did well. Remember what you did. Take a notebook. See what guys do when you make a mistake. Everyone knows what I got to fix this. Well, what about when you do good? Why'd you play good? I don't know. I just played good. You don't want to forget that. You want to remember what you did that day. Remember the preparation all week of what you did each day. Keep a little notebook in a journal. What I'm doing today. When I have success, because you want to repeat it. So you don't want to forget it. You want to duplicate it. And duplicate, the numbers may not duplicate because of the opportunities that are there. What you got to duplicate is the decision making and the leadership and the way you direct the offense. And then keep practicing the same way.
You talked about you never know how a kid's going to react until the lights are on.
Mm-hmm.
You also never really know how a kid's going to react when he becomes a kind of famous kid like Jameis.
It's going to be a growing process as you go. Each week we'll continue to grow as players and as leaders. It'll continue to grow.
But you've always seemed kind of confident that he's the kind of kid that can kind of shrug that off. But do you ever really know until they're in?
No, you don't. I mean, you think you know.
Right.
And there's going to be guys. Everybody's going to stumble. But maybe not though. Why? You say, excuse me. You think people are going to stumble, but maybe not. Maybe they play well all the time and can keep things in perspective and remember why they keep doing things and create those good habits and stay true to the process.
Coach, with the likelihood of Carlos at running back at some point during the Nevada game, does that give James more time to come back from?
I hope not. I want him ready to roll. We need to get him in there and ready to roll. That wasn't to keep James off. We're going to play him off.
How much during fall camp did he work at running back? I mean,
A little, not a bunch. A little.
Was he enthusiastic about
Very.
this? Yeah.
Extremely. Been very enthusiastic.
And you've always kind of handled it with a kid making a switch from offense to defense or position change. It's on them, right?
If when you want to do, I mean, that's my opinion. That's what I think you can be. That's where I think your best future is, and where you can help this football team. But they have to. I'm not going to force. If you force somebody to do something they don't want to do, they're not going to be good at it. And it's not. Again, it's not that they were bad at the other thing. Sometimes you can be really good at one thing, great at another. We'll see.
Who's kind of taking his place in terms of the safety rotation?
Keelan, all those guys have done a tremendous job. And you get PJ back, and you can move some of those corners. There's PJ and Jalen, all those guys can go corner, safety, and those guys have rotated at all different positions in there.